Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will call the Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee to order. And gentlemen, we do have minutes in our packet, but that is for you to take with you because I know you haven't had a chance to read them, and we'll vote on those minutes at our next meeting. We are continuing our work on the general fund this evening, and for the benefit of those in the audience, this is the procedure that we will follow. I will ask the representative of the organization and or the department head to join us at the table. The mayor will give his recommendation. I will then give you a chance to speak to any details of your budget, and then the committee will have a chance to ask questions or have as much discussion as they feel necessary. And gentlemen, we are ready to begin in section 2. And if you will turn to page 84, this will be a large group of contributions under other social, cultural, and recreation. And before we begin, I need to make this disclosure. I am a member of the St. Clair Street Senior Citizens Board and also Journeys in Community Living, formerly known as the Adult Activity Center, and I just wanted to disclose the fact that I am on those boards, but I do not perceive that as a conflict of interest.
I should do the same thing. I'm on the advisory board of the Domestic Violence Center.
And I'm on the board of the Laverne Senior Citizens.
Okay.
Well, I'm on the board of the Noon Exchange Club.
Okay.
So there.
So there. Gentlemen, page 84, and the mayor's recommendation. Do we have that corrected on their sheet? That's correct. Should have corrected. You will notice on page 84, the total should be $537,642. If you will look over then on the right-hand side where things are itemized for all of the contributions, you do have that total. Mayor Burgess, your recommendations, please.
Well, you see my recommendation is $537,642. There are no new entities recommended. We did have 2 entities that requested the participation, and I have not recommended that. There are no decreases, I guess that's the good news, but there are no increases except on a couple whereby the dues and the program required it. For example, Mid-Cumberland Human Resource Agency, those dues went up based on population, so that's the recommendation, Madam Chairman.
Okay, is there anyone here who would like to speak for child advocacy? Domestic violence program? Would you please join us? Good evening. Would you introduce yourself for the record?
My name is Deborah Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Service.
And the mayor's recommendation for your program is $31,200.
Our agency uses the money that's allocated to us through the county to work primarily in the court system, in civil court with orders of protection for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. We've taken on that responsibility since it was given to us I guess about 1989, and we continue to have a part-time attorney and 3 court advocates that help victims fill out their paperwork, file them with the courthouse, and accompany them to court. And that covers some of our staff salaries, our paperwork, printing the documents for the court, faxing costs and things like that. And it's wonderful. And I hope it's helpful to the county.
Any questions from members of the committee? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you.
Do we have a representative from the Exchange Club Family Center? Good evening. Would you introduce yourself for the record, please, sir?
I'm Jeff Pooster. I'm the program director.
And the mayor's recommendation is $22,000.
And that money is used, in part, what we do is provide parent education throughout Rutherford County. In particular, we're providing the parent education for men and women of the workhouse minimum security facility, so we've been providing that for a number of years now. And in addition, we are supervising visits for parents when there's a safety concern for the children, and so we provide in-house supervised visits for those children and their parents. We're also doing community education, such as the Pinwheel Garden that was at the courthouse this past April for Child Abuse Prevention Month. So we do a lot of community education where we meet with, for example, schools, early intervention schools, and we talk about child abuse prevention as part of their licensure.
Any questions from the members of the committee? Thank you, and thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Do we have a representative from the Laverne Senior Citizens? Good evening. And if you'll introduce yourself for the record, please.
Absolutely. Good evening. I'm Donna Bebout. I am the Senior Coordinator for the Laverne Senior Center.
And the mayor's recommendation for your agency is $44,000.
And that is much appreciated. We really appreciate the support that you all give us. The $44,000 will go to our daily operations. We are currently serving 451 seniors with an average of 37 seniors a day at our senior center. This money will go toward programming, to trips, to help enrich the quality of their lives.
Questions?
I'd just like to say one more thing, and I think all the senior centers do this. They're not the only ones, but help with getting them seniors to rides, to doctor visits, groceries, all this kind of stuff. And I know it's not just the senior centers that do that, but it's other agencies also. But that's some that, you know, it gets near and dear to our heart when we get up at that age, I guess is what it is. That we're all, it might be someday that we're all going to have to use it. So it's a good service that a lot of people in this county provide.
And thank you for what you do at the Laverne Senior Citizens.
Thank you.
Mid-Cumberland Human Resource Agency.
You get a choice.
Good evening, ladies. Hello. Would you introduce yourself for the record, please?
I'm Debbie Willis. I'm the site coordinator for the Meals on Wheels program here in Murfreesboro.
And Ms. Willis, the mayor's recommendation is $65,387. And again, part of that is you do have an increase in your dues, correct?
Yes.
And I'm Deborah Holmes. I'm the in-home services director, and I guess I'm representing everyone but Meals tonight. You want to tell them a little bit about Meals and then I'll do it?
Well, I want to kind of do a little different thing with y'all. I think everybody knows what we do at Meals on Wheels. But this is kind of a little imagine game. I want part of you to imagine that you've had a stroke. You're paralyzed on your right side, and that's the hand that you normally write with. Some of you down here have had a heart attack, and you're very weak. You have to use a cane. You know, you can't stand up very long to cook yourself lunch or whatever. And the mayor down on this one, Miss Joyce, y'all have Alzheimer's. Yeah.
We already know
that.
We've diagnosed it for you now.
Accused of worse, haven't we?
But, you know, you forget to eat, or you've tried to eat and you forget it's on the stove and you burnt the stove and all that. So imagine all that, and this is what if it was you. You struggle to get out of bed. You make your way over to your favorite chair in front of the TV where you sit most of the day. Now figure out how you're going to feed yourself today. No one has been able to take you to the grocery store for a couple of weeks. All of your family either works or lives in another state. It's hard for you to maneuver your walker or wheelchair around in the kitchen, and you certainly can't stand up long enough to fix yourself something. You may forget to turn off the stove. Many of your elderly neighbors face this dilemma every day. Or you struggle to get out of bed, you make your way to your favorite chair, and then you remember it's Tuesday. So that means Joe will be delivering your meals. Joe loves football, and I'm going to have to rag him about that MTSU team. Or it's Wednesday, And Nancy and her adorable little girls will be delivering today. They are so nice. I feel like a grandpa while they were here. A nourishing meal brought by a smiling volunteer once a day can make all the difference in the world. Good nutrition has many benefits, including reducing falls and making prescription drugs work better. It's also an excellent safety check for seniors who are all alone. When it's your time comes, do you want to stay in your home as long as possible? So, something to think about
Thanks.
instead of my usual presentation.
Well, I'm going to talk about some of the programs you don't know quite as well. The Homemaker program is the program that most of you consider the elder abuse program. These are individuals who are referred by Adult Protective Services as having been abused, neglected, or exploited. They're the individuals that she tells the story about who have no one. They're the people who their son has stolen $100,000 from them and sold the house out from under them. Or the couple who has gotten into domestic violence, but she won't leave and they need assistance. And so the homemakers come in and provide whatever assistance is needed to remedy that abuse, neglect, or exploitation. We're blessed that in this particular county, our girls do that with a success rate of over 95%. That's amazing when the average age of the clients are over the age of 70. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, while Rutherford County only makes up around 19% of our population that we serve for Mid-Cumberland, you make up over 40% of the referrals that we receive for Adult Protective Services. You currently have 12 life-threatening cases on the wait list in this particular county. That has to do with a decrease in federal funding, as well as over a 220% increase in referrals in this particular county. So that's what the Homemaker program does. The transportation program, you guys know very well. Those are the white vans driving around with the blue eagles on them. We request $5,000 for that particular program, and that request is for capital match money. And then, of course, the dues is something that we have not requested. We have not increased our request to you in 10 years. We do it every time there's a census, and so that's why you see such an increase. However, that is the first time in 10 years that we've requested an increase. And then there was another program that I do not believe was recommended, and that's the Long-Term Care Ombudsman program, and that's your advocate program for individuals who are in the nursing home. It's neither, they don't work for the nursing home, they don't work for the client. They are an advocate that seeks to try to find resolution for someone when they're in the nursing home to restore their dignity, and I believe she's requesting $1,000 for that particular program. So I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have about any of those.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, ladies, for the information, and thank you for the work you do every day.
Thank you.
Do we have a representative from Motlow State Community College?
Probably not.
Okay, Pregnancy Support Center. Good evening.
Hello. I'm Laura Messick with the Pregnancy Support Center. I'm the director.
And the mayor has recommended $3,000 for your program.
We provide pregnancy tests, ultrasound, material assistance, and anything a woman needs for a baby, including baby food and formula. We also take abstinence education into the public schools and teach STD prevention and awareness and teen pregnancy prevention. So that's what we do.
Questions? Thank you very much for the information. Gentlemen, we approved a contract with Relax and Ride at our last county commission meeting last Thursday. Do we have a representative from Rutherford County Primary Care and Hope Clinic? Good evening. Would you introduce yourself for the record, please, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Sean Gilliland. I'm the Chief Information Officer at Primary Care and Hope Clinic.
And the mayor has recommended $50,000 for your agency.
We greatly appreciate it. May of 2012 actually represents our 20th anniversary providing services here in Rutherford County. We've been trying over the last few years, and due to large part because of the investment of our community, to expand the growth. We've had somewhere between 15 and 20% growth in the number of patients served over the last 3 years, and we hope to continue that in this 20th year. We've already in the last 3 months added a new nurse practitioner and a medical doctor. And today we opened our second or third site actually in the Stonecrest Physicians Building attached to Stonecrest Hospital in Smyrna. About 15 to 20% of our patients are already live in the north end of the county, and something we've been wanting to do for a while. We also operate the mobile health unit with MTMC that goes around to the schools. We extended that to Rutherford County schools last year, and as we've gone to schools in that area, we've known that there's been a great need, so we're happy to try to meet that need and open that facility today. And as we try to expand services we provide in both locations, the community support will be greatly received. If I could add one other thing, if you add up all of our community support that we receive from governmental organizations, city and county, and foundations and corporate donations and private support, and then that equals almost dollar for dollar the amount of unreimbursed charity care that we provided here. So for every dollar invested in our organization, we're getting a dollar right back to the community in charity care for the uninsured. When you add up the total of prescription assistance that we help those patients apply for, and the direct relief medications and equipment that we're able to apply for and get and distribute, that's another dollar. So essentially, you're getting $2 back to the community for every dollar of community support that we receive. I think we'd all like to get 200% return on our private investments, and we feel like we're a good investment in community support.
Thank you, and thank you for what you do in your clinics.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
St. Clair Street Senior Citizen Center. Hello. Would you introduce yourself for the record, please?
I'm Candy Joyce, and I'm the vice chair for the commission at St. Clair Senior Center.
And the mayor has recommended $155,000 to the center.
We had requested an increase this year because of the substantial volume of participants that are coming into the center. Already, from last year, we had 3,456 participants during the year. We've already had 2,100 plus for the first 6 months of the fiscal year, so you can see that there's an increased participation in the center. And the many services that the center's providing is really the reason that we're asking for the increase this year. We've got so many things that are going on and so many more people that are participating. 52% of our participants come from Rutherford County only, which are outside the Murfreesboro participation area. So 49% or 45% are Murfreesboro only. So we see a substantial growth in that participation of the Rutherford County seniors, also taxpayers, also voters, also volunteers, that they are participating in the services that the center has, and we are continuing to grow. So we're trying to continue to keep up with the services. This year alone, we've already provided over 900 tax filings for senior citizens so that they could get a quick return on their monies and having some qualified assistance for a very low nominal donation. In fact, the Senior Wellness and Nurse on Duty program has continued to grow, and we have had new staff put in place for them to continue those services. We've had additional assistance for community, and I find one of the things most interesting to continue to grow is our services to the families of Alzheimer's, because there's so many families that are now facing that, and our adult daycare program is servicing them, but the additional resources that the baby boomers who have elderly parents are not finding enough assistance in knowing where to go. So that's another one of the services that we're continuing to see as a necessity to grow. We're seeking accreditation with our national association and working through an accreditation program. So it's a very sound organization, and the monies that they use from the cities and the counties really does go back to making our program beneficial to all of the participants. So we hope you can honor our request.
Questions from the committee?
Does the city provide any money to this?
They do. We also have some funding from them.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Smyrna Senior Citizens. Good evening.
Good evening.
Would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Wanda Chandler. I'm the Executive Director of the Smyrna Senior Citizen Center.
And the mayor's recommendation for your center is $45,000.
Yes, and we very much appreciate that. We appreciate your support over the years. The Smyrna Senior Citizen Center has been there now for 40 years as of last year. So we've been providing services for a long time. We had asked for an increase in our funding. As you know, we had, and by the way, we're looking, if any churches want to start meeting at our center, well, we'll be glad to have them. But we lost the Trinity Church, and that was about $11,000 in funding year before last. So we're trying to step up, you know, our fundraising and everything, which we were able to do a little bit last year. But we still came up with a shortfall for 2011 of about $7,200. So that's why we asked for an increase. We've maintained the same budget now for 4 years. Our budget has been $90,000 for the last 4 years. And so we're making cuts where we can to make up for the increases in utilities and things like that. So we're managing to stay afloat, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, the mayor's recommendation for other social, cultural, and recreation is a total of $537,642, and the chair will entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we adjust 2 line items. We've gone down through here and stayed fast on, the mayor has on a lot of the recommendations. If we could meet in the middle on these 2 that have requested extra funds, but then again not giving up the farm, $5,000 on each of the St. Clair Street Senior Citizen Center, and also $5,000 more on the Smyrna Senior Citizen Center. That's not meeting their request, but then again, that's helping out $5,000 more in each one of those line items. We did up here in another one, Mid-Cumberland, and
That was because of the increase in the dues.
that's true. And we've just heard from both the others on why the increase request there. So if we could, that's my motion.
So your motion is to increase St. Clair Street Senior Citizens by $5,000 above the mayor's recommendation, and the Smyrna Senior Citizens.
Yes.
And we have a motion, gentlemen. Is there a second? We have a motion. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
Madam Chairman, I'd just like to make a brief statement. I think that all these people would like more money. I think they're all aware of the situation that we're in the county, and not only the county, but the cities also. Some of them are, hurting, and we've managed to keep up with what we've been giving them in this time, even though the funds, the increase in people that are coming, are not providing the increases that are needed. And, I'd just like to say, I think all of us would love to do what Commissioner Sandlin said for all these groups, but I don't think it's possible with where we stand with our budget. Thank you.
The chair will entertain a motion as to the mayor's recommendation.
Make a motion to approve the mayor's recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Any further discussion?
Why did we jump up to 19? And we did this last month, but the relaxing ride was 12.5, and we went to 19.5.
That's a program that provides, as you recall, the bus service.
I know it.
TSU to Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, into Davidson County. They have added 2 new routes. In other words, and all of the municipalities have agreed to step up and support those 2 new routes. There's a substantial amount of federal grant money and state money that's made this possible, so it's just an increase in service level.
I got you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Gentlemen, if you will turn to page 90 in your notebooks. This is the tourism line item. Mayor Burgess.
Lisa may have to help me on some of these.
Gentlemen, yes, you have your total on the front. If you'll turn to the back, you see the
There's a whole
itemized.
series of things there. Starting with the chamber area, the Center Main Street opens, and Sam Davis, and let me see here.
Your recommendation?
My recommendation is $375,000, but that's $30,000 more than the current year.
And that is a
Ms.
function.
Nolan has imputed the 30% hotel motel tax, which is
That's the
dedicated to the
30%.
chamber.
Okay, is there anyone here from the chamber who would like to speak to your budget and the mayor's recommendation?
Yes, ma'am. Mona Herring, Vice President of the Convention Visitors Bureau. And we are just so grateful for all of your support over the years. The formula that has been devised has worked well and helped us bring in all of the meetings, the conferences, the sporting events As you can see, we started Spring Fling today, and that's gonna bring in about $3.5 million this week, about 5,000 athletes. We've got Sons of Confederate Veterans coming in July, 600 sons and their families, which is a brand new event for us, and about 3 new sports events coming in as well this summer. So we're very grateful and happy that we're able to bring these folks in and add to the economic impact of tourism to Rutherford County.
It looks like you're going to have a great week for Spring Fling,
It is.
too.
Yeah.
The
Good.
weather's holding up.
Good.
Yeah.
After this afternoon, maybe. Thank you.
Thank
you very much. Heritage Center. Good evening. Would you introduce yourself for the record, please?
My name is Jennifer Budd. I'm the program assistant at the Heritage Center at Murfreesboro and Rutherford County.
And your request was for $15,000, and that is the mayor's recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. And we really appreciate the support that y'all lend to us. I'm not sure if all of y'all have been by the Heritage Center before, but we always have an open invitation for everyone to come by. Our main purpose is to serve as an orientation center for both locals and visitors alike, to showcase the historic sites in town. We give walking tours around the historic square, and of course we're housed in the same building on College Street, known as the Old Dixie Highway that used to come into town, and with the Main Street organization there. So we're very like the idea of being there with them and partnering with a lot of the things that go on around the square. And we really appreciate your support as far as all of the different visitors we have. Everything we do there, all of our programming, our exhibits and everything is always free. We have a lot of school groups that come in, including homeschool groups, and then a lot of different organizations in town come and meet and are able to experience our programming and exhibits.
Thank you. Thank you for the information.
Have y'all received an increase or a decrease in tourism since we've had this economic downturn?
Our numbers have stayed relatively the same and even above in some categories. Mona at the chamber probably could speak a little bit more for overall visitation in the county. But we have had our doors open for 6 years, and we've had about 18,000 people that have come through the building and used it in some capacity, at either as using it as a meeting space for different events. We have community heritage lectures and things like that, or just different visitors on a yearly basis like that. But we've received the same funding each year that y'all have given us.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Main Street.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hello. I'm Kathleen Herzog. I'm the director of Main Street. This is Bill Shacklet, the chairman of our board of directors.
And your request was $25,000, and the mayor's recommendation is the same.
And we thank you very much, Mayor Burgess. Main Street's 26 years old, and I hope you know that our mission is to maintain, promote, and enhance beautiful, historic downtown Murfreesboro as the heart of the community. Of course, we don't receive federal or state money, and this money that we get from the county and the city helps jumpstart our budget. And all these wonderful things that we do are free. Those Friday Night Live, Jazz Fest, all that's free. We have to raise all of our money. So without the support of the county and the city, we just couldn't make it. And we so appreciate it very much.
Amen.
Does anybody
Any
have
questions?
any questions about what we do? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
You need to, while you have the opportunity, tell us about Farmers Market.
Oh, sure. It starts on June the 2nd, and this will be our third year. We opened in 2010 around the beautiful historic courthouse inner circle, And I think that we have worked on it and dreamed about it for years, and we knew that it would be successful, but I don't think we ever had any idea how wildly successful it would be, because people love to come and just hang out in the square.
And that is Saturday morning?
It's every Saturday morning from 8 to 12, and Mayor Burgess has graciously allowed us to use the inner circle every Saturday morning, and we have worked, I think, harmoniously with other events that occur in the summer months, historic events that take place on the east side of the courthouse. All of our vendors are on the north, south, and west side. We have 57 vendors, and it's been full for months. And if you haven't come, please come, because it's just great. It's wonderful. And this beautiful venue is part of the appeal, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Burgess.
Oakland's Association. Good evening.
Good evening.
Would you introduce yourself, please, for the record?
I will. My name is James Manning. I'm the director of Oakland's Historic House Museum.
And the mayor's recommendation is $2,500.
Thank you very much. I had a group tour leader that told me last month that every tour of Murfreesboro should start with Oakland, so people could learn more about the history of Murfreesboro and of Rutherford County. We do struggle to maintain the House Museum and the collection to the standards of a museum, but we also are able to take tourists directly through each room, and we hear from a lot of tourists that makes it more special to them than a lot of larger sites where they aren't able to go through the spaces. We try to offset that by having as many hands-on activities as we can, and Thursday and Friday we had the days of watching, churning, and learning, and we had just over 1,500 students that came through those 2 days, and several of the teachers told me that that was their favorite field trip because the kids are actually able to do everything by hand that we told them about throughout the year. And then for a free day Saturday, we had just over 500 people that came through at no charge. So your money helps to make that possible, and we appreciate it very much.
Questions for Mr. Manning? Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam Davis home? Good evening, ladies. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Anita Teague. I'm the director of the Sam Davis Home. Barbara Benson, president of the Sam Davis Home.
And the mayor is recommending $2,500.
And we're very appreciative to be in the county budget and to receive the funding that you all graciously provide. Like James spoke about Oakland's, with the money that the county gives, and that we help us keep our doors open and be able to provide education programs to the school children of our community, to be able to bring people in and educate them about what life was like 150 years ago in this community, which helped make our community what it is. We have large school days too. Our days on the farm, we just finished, and we saw thousands of kids and their parents and such, and being able to bring them to a 168-acre farm that still raises cotton is able to allow a lot of them to see what their ancestors or what the community was like back then, and how we have changed, and through hands-on exhibits and through other events that we have allowed them to come in and be able to be educated, as well as have an enjoyable time while they're here in our community.
And excuse me one second, I want to say something about our days on the farm. We have like 10,000 children. Haven't we had that many before? Mm-hmm. Yes. We have literally thousands of children in a 2-day period to come to see our site and to see the sheep and the lye making and all of this. And the board is very active in everything that we do down there. We're a working board. We try everything we can to raise money. We do have to close the month of January because we don't have enough money to keep the doors open. So we do appreciate everything that you do for us and invite you and your families to come down.
And if I might say, I heard you ask the Heritage Center about tourism and the numbers and how the economy has affected. One thing that I think we do a great job on is educating our visitors on the economy, how we keep all of our lights off in the museum until the very first visitor comes. And so as they come in, we greet them and we say, as cost-saving measures, we keep the lights off until you enter, and then we turn the lights on for you. So therefore, we show them that if they join as a member or if they make a donation, we are making the best use of their money, just like we make the best use of the money that y'all are granting us. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, the tourism line item budget is a total of $375,000, and I will entertain a motion.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Sandlin.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Gentlemen, turn to section 6 in your notebooks, please. Do you need to make a statement about the cover sheet before we continue?
Yes. And I didn't put a cover sheet
In my own, do you need mine?
No,
Here we
I mean,
go.
I know what it says. Well, yeah. Because I forgot which year it was. The revenue that comes into this fund is from the interest off a note from the airport authority. We used to have interest coming off the Leary Housing, but if you remember, they paid off their note earlier this year. So there's 3 things that are paid out of this fund, and that's Destination Rutherford, Economic Community Development. Did I say that right?
Economic Development
Council. I say that wrong every time. And the payment to Town of Smyrna for their share, $17,000. So this sheet that I've given you in your notebook, with the interest and principal coming off that airport authority, and if we keep paying the same amount of money, we will be out of funds in about, well, 2017-18, we're going to have a problem.
That is for information. And she has just explained our revenue and our expenditures. So if you will look on page 1 of the expenditure section, you will see Destination Rutherford, the contracts with other public agencies, line item 310, and the Economic Development Council at 316, line 316. Is there anyone here from Destination Rutherford? Ms. Brackman and Mr. Jones, welcome.
Thank you.
If you would like to give us a little bit of information about Destination Rutherford. I know some of us are aware of this, but the mayor has recommended $130,000.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Glad to do it. And at least 3 of the commissioners have heard this bill, I think, for now going on 8 years. So I'll try to make it brief. But one thing I would like to remind you is when we started this program, it was as a business arrangement. In other words, that we expected those who made investments to see a return on their investment. And I'm pleased to say that I think we're living up to that. I looked at 6 deals that Destination Rutherford has been intimately involved with over the last 9 years now. Just looking at 6, I feel like probably would be a strong chance they would not be in Rutherford County without some of the expertise and the personnel that your funding helps provide for. If you look at just 6 of a number of deals, but if you just look at those 6 deals and look at the property tax to Rutherford County that those 6 deals pay on an annual basis, that would total some $761,000. And again, getting back to a return on your investments, that's on an annual basis. If you compare that to a $130,000 investment, that's, Professor, make sure my math's right, but I think that's a 586% return on your investment for 1 year. So I hope that we're living up to what we said we would do some 9 years ago. And just for color commentary, I think it is good to also note that economic development activity, from what we see, has picked up, is active, and there are a significant number of companies that are looking at Rutherford County in a different level of activity than we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. So I think your money is well spent. I hope the fact that we give you what I think is an outstanding return on your investment each and every year, I hope would encourage you to continue our funding, and we certainly appreciate all that you do for us and all you've done in the last 9 years.
Questions for Mr. Jones? Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And, yeah, Economic Development Council.
Got us again.
The mayor's recommendation is $96,500.
The economic development function of the Chamber of Commerce works very hard to promote economic development in a lot of different ways. The primary way is to recruit new business to our community and to Rutherford County. But in addition, we have 2 other forms of focus, and that is working on business expansion and then also working with existing industries within Rutherford County. As you all well know, the industries that we have in our community are the cornerstone of the economic growth, or rather the economic impetus of what we have within our community. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And economic development does, of course, work very, very closely with Destination Rutherford and all of the efforts that they put forward.
Just briefly to add to that, I mean, part of Destination Rutherford 2015's plan is to help 200 of our existing industries grow and expand. And you know what gets in the paper a lot of times is the new deal that comes to town, but frankly what's just as important, if not more important, is helping the industries we already have here prosper and expand. So again, it's our plan to help 200 of those over a 5-year period grow and expand through the Destination Rutherford program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And gentlemen, if you'll turn to the back side, that is our payment to Smyrna. And then on page 3, the mayor's recommendation for the Industrial Economic Development Fund, $243,777.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner
Second.
Jernigan. Seconded by Commissioner Pegg. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. That motion carries. Okay, if you will turn back to section 2 in your notebooks. For those in the audience, to further facilitate our procedure, I will ask you to join us. The mayor will give his recommendation, and then I will ask you to affirm if you agree or disagree with the mayor's recommendation and speak to any details of your budget at that time. Mr. King, Community Care. Gentlemen, we should be on page 74. Good evening. Mayor Burgess.
The recommendation again is for $15,000, and we give this over to Community Care to help maintain and enhance the beauty and functionality of our property that Rutherford County owns. And they've been a very good steward of that property.
Motion to approve, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Sandlin.
I'm sorry I jumped right in front of you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Mr. King.
Graciously accept.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Tennessee Rehabilitation Center. Gentlemen, we need to be on page 77. Ms. Furlong, is that correct? Welcome. Mayor Burgess.
Well, the recommendation is $43,500, which is the same that we've been contributing each year for the last several years, but they do a great job and well deserved.
Mrs. Furlong?
I'll accept it.
Any questions for Mrs. Furlong?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Sandlin, seconded by Commissioner Peake. Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes, I mean, just maybe for knowledge, and we're on TV, so you can spread it out too. But just tell us a little bit about what you do there. And this is the one. This is not the one on the air base, right?
No, this is not the one.
Okay.
We're on Haley Road.
Yeah.
Provide vocational training services to adults with disabilities, try to get them to work. Whether it be college, tech school, facility. We also work with the school system to transition those high school students that are going to graduate with special education diplomas into the workforce, since they will be going on to higher education. So, just some of the things we do.
Thank you.
I used to be on that board many years ago, and I just did not realize
Well, we could
how
welcome
much
you
y'all
back.
did, you know, over there, and y'all are a tremendous help, not just for the people, but for the community, so y'all do a great job.
Thank you.
It's been a long time ago, but y'all still doing a good job.
We do have a motion and a second, gentlemen. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, page 80 in your notebooks, Journeys in Community Living. Mrs. McNeely, welcome. Mayor Burgess.
And again, we're recommending $32,000 to another very, very worthy program.
Mrs. McNeely.
We really appreciate that. We changed our name recently. I guess maybe I ought to explain that. We used to be the Adult Activity Center, and we've been there for 35 years, getting county support. But we realized that it didn't say what we were. We started out as a Memorial Daycare Center, and we have journeyed, and now realize our folks can work independently. They're adults with intellectual disabilities. They can work independently. They can live in regular neighborhoods in their own homes. They can give back to the community through volunteer work. So we thought our name should reflect all the things we do for our folks and all the things our folks do for the community.
And you might tell them they're now having a pretty nice, very nice annual fundraiser banquet, and you give them all an invitation to attend.
I will send you a personal invitation. It's going to be August 23rd. We hope to have awards for all the people in the community that have helped our program, as well as our clients, some of our outstanding clients, and hope to see you all there. Thank you for mentioning it.
Make a motion approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bond. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Page 82, gentlemen. Linebaugh Library. Mrs. Shackley, good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor Burgess.
Okay. The recommendation is $1,183,500. They did ask for more money than that. That's about a 2.5% increase, and that's just in my best judgment what they deserve, and I'm sure they need more, but that's what I thought we could manage this year.
Mrs. Shackley.
We did ask for more. Our building will be 20 years old next month, and we are beginning to have some major issues. We have been told our chiller is running on thin ice at about $200,000 plus to replace. It's over 7 years past its life expectancy. We've been having trouble with the outside elevator and have been told they don't make the parts anymore. And we need the whole elevator replaced because it's exposed to the elements, and that's probably another $100,000 plus. So we are just trying to paddle and hope for the best, and hope that our repair people can keep things going and try to save as much as we can. We do take in fines. That's really about the only place where we get money. We supplement our book budget with memorial books, with our memorial book plan. But again, it's not enough. We serve all of Rutherford County and have since 1948. And we have a location in Eagleville, a location in Smyrna, a location at MGL at Patterson Park, which is fully city funded. And we have a bookmobile that services the whole county 4 days a week. So I understand, and we truly do appreciate the increase. We're just looking at some major, and we're out of space. So we're looking to try to find some monies to expand the little bit of space that we do have. We have about 4,000 square feet if we take in our little garden patio area, and that's about it. So that was the reason for our increase.
Make a motion approved.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Second.
thank you, and seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. Commissioner P.
I was going to second
Okay.
the motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Shackley. Gentlemen, page 16 in your notebook. The Geographic Information Systems. And who do we have joining us? Okay, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Brown.
Miss Marlin.
And I'm going to have to get used to your new last name.
They've already went around and around with this budget, I see, so.
I'm on the losing end.
Barbara's our GIS manager, and Doug Brown is our technical services manager until Friday, when he leaves the county after 16 years. So this will be his last meeting, and he will be sorely missed.
Okay, the GIS budget, page 16, Mayor Burgess.
Okay, the recommendation in total is $1,173,380, which is about $60,000 less than the current budget. But there are several items that have some differences, both up and down. Line item 121 again is, as we've mentioned in several of the departments, the evaluation, you might say, of department personnel. That's why that increase is there. Again, the department for employee independent insurance, those numbers are what they are with respect to the employees that are in place. I'll just say that the maintenance agreements, 314, that's up about $17,000. Substantial part of that is reimbursed, I believe, Brian, by the municipalities. I think we're recovering about $99,000 from the other entities in this shared arrangement that we have with East, how do you say that word?
Yeah, ESRI, yes, sir.
ESRI.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see. There's some increase in data processing supplies for monitors and racks within the GIS department themselves. Data processing equipment has an increase. He may have to speak to that. We have a decrease in the other capital outlay in that this is what I think they call the off year for flyovers. So that amount is $160,000, where it was about 3 times that much last year, I think. But there's an additional item there. Even though that 590 has been reduced to 442, it has one new piece of software for the assessor's office that's in this budget that's called Pictometry for $282,000. That allows a flyover that would actually capture all of these images on an oblique basis. You can see them from, instead of just straight up and down, you can see them from various angles, which is going to, over a period of time, substantially improve their ability to, you might say, do proper appraisal from more inside the office area as opposed to having to be on site. It has tremendously sophisticated kinds of tools as far as measuring and et cetera built into this system. So that's the new thing that's added here.
Why would we not go under the assessor's office for that? Because it's used here, or?
And I don't know, except Brian should answer that, I believe, in that we support this and manage this and install this for them. So it's
a lot of the GIS expenditures are concentrated under this line item, as we have kind of from the beginning. Most of the GIS assets that we invest in and maintain sort of, or many of them equally benefit multiple agencies. This does have a particularly high use factor for the property assessor's office, but certainly many agencies will benefit from it.
How so?
Well, there are, Pictometry held a meeting and invited, Mr. Boner invited several agencies. We probably have 30 people in the room, including the
invited all the
Sheriff's Office and Commissioner, okay.
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement. There are tactical uses of it in that if you can see, instead of simply seeing from above the top of a building, you can see the front of a building and actually take measurements, for instance, to see different heights for things like how high up a window is if you've got to plan an event that involves access through a certain window, for instance. It's kind of a silly example, but you can see that if you can see the actual building or in behind the building, then certainly you can appraise it better, but also you just have better visibility of the property. Barbara, do you think of any other specific examples?
Fire especially likes it because it allows them to measure their fire potential in a building and to see what their water needs would be and that type of thing.
Yeah, that one jumped out at me. I was waiting to see if it came out, but.
No, you can rotate the structures on the pictometry and see all sides. Right there, as you know, that's why it's a bike, but you can also rotate it down.
Eventually, you can come up with a cubic square feet of a structure that you're looking at. For instance, the Emergency Management Agency actually used a grant to purchase pictometry several years ago and got some use of it out of it from an emergency management standpoint. So certainly they would be able to use this again as well. This will be licensed for any agency to use.
It's completely integratable with our existing GIS system, so it's a two-way integration piece between.
So this is a one-time cost for what, software, or what are we talking about here, licensing?
This is the flying to capture the imagery and the software. There's not another cost unless you choose to incur another cost with them. This is the price we have is based on one flight for 3 years. And if we wanted to do another flight in that 3 years, we have another pricing scheme for that. But
that's what I was afraid of. So.
But there's nothing that obligates us to do that.
Well, I mean, we do the flyover every other year. Would
Correct.
that be part of that same 100? Well, not. That's what I was thinking.
No, and we also
if we wanted to update it, basically, we'd have to put this. Well, the money for their oblique flyover, I assume.
Right, and actually later on in later subsequent flights, we could look at doing portions of the county instead of the entire county, based on the reappraisal cycle. But this happens to be a reappraisal year, so we would need the entire county this year.
I know the municipalities, or at least Murfreesboro, does participate in the flyover, right?
Yes.
Are they participating in this?
No.
We have not approached them about cost share on this, Mr. Payne.
I would like for you to. So if I mean,
at the meeting that Brian was talking about, they had some representatives who already are using this from Davidson County, I believe, in Murray County.
Yes, sir.
There is likely, I shouldn't promise anything, but it appears that over a period of time you can substantially reduce the number of property appraisers you need. The other counties are already beginning to see the benefits of that.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Where's these funds coming out of?
All of this right here is county general.
Why wouldn't we want to take it out of assessor's office?
The assessor is not a fee office, so they don't really have any dollars from which to take it out of. Their budget is within county general. We're having to take it out of the same entity. And this has more general application. For example, if we are able at some point to get some others to want to share in this cost, it's here, and we already have that mechanism in place. We're selling GIS has a routine process of allowing other people to access this base data that we have, and we do have a charge for that. So at some point, we hopefully might even charge for some of this.
Lisa, line 121, how many is in that?
4.
4. All right.
Brian, anything else you need to speak to as to the budget for this GIS?
From a revenues standpoint, our revenues are going to be, we project to be the same as they were in previous years, in that the Rutherford County Emergency Communications District, I believe, intends to contribute $50,000 to our joint GIS mapping efforts, as does the CUD, Consolidated Utility District, at $50,000. We project $8,000 in map production fees. And again, we have about a $114,000 offset from the municipality's contribution to our GIS efforts. And then the City of Murfreesboro contributes $46,900, even beyond the for the data acquisition itself, beyond the licensing agreement. So that's the revenue side.
What's the total on that revenue? I don't think I've got that.
I could also, my total here actually also covers 52,600, which we'll get to in a moment. But that was 50, 8,000, 114,000, and 46,900. And
$268,900.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Then, if I might, on the 52,600 data, OIT, regular OIT side, I always put on my revenue sheet that our Comcast franchise revenues are sort of, that's kind of how we pay to put the channel on the air, and it costs about $170,000 per year to do that. Our revenues, I believe, are up, projected to be up another 6 or 7% between Comcast and AT&T, so that's $700,000. I guess it comes just into the general fund, really. Community Care Nursing Home is also generous to be able to contribute $12,000 in support of our support of their computer system and network at Community Care. So those are other revenues, which I believe total about $960,900.
So really, if this budget from this, well, from the GIS standpoint, that would mean it would be 210,000 out of the.
Well, yeah, but
except some of that's coming from the other
thing.
thing.
Off really
going to the other department.
Yeah. Yes,
yeah.
Okay. Yes, I went ahead and covered the OIT portion too. Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Sandlin.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jordan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Gentlemen, turn please to pages 32 and 33. And this is the information technology part of the budget. Pages 32 and 33. Mayor Burgess, your recommendation?
$2,088,640, and that's about it's about $200,000 more. We don't need to go through this one. You may have some questions. Data processing personnel 121. Is there anything besides normal changes that there's not any new people in there? Okay.
Moving an admin 2 to admin 3.
Yeah, well, that would be a reevaluation or readjustment.
Yes, sir.
Insurance, again, is up 9,000. Data processing service, I think we'd probably let Mr. Brown address this. That's up about $25,000. It's largely for security, off-site security and otherwise, so I'll cover all these and y'all might want to come back for that one. We've expanded these maintenance agreements to cover a wider range of Microsoft Enterprise. I believe data processing supplies is up some. Data processing equipment, again, we need to let them explain this a bit, but the judicial building phone system is included thereof, which is a major part of the net increase from 422 to 515 in it. I think we've got about $75,000 to put that phone system up to standard and to make that building over there properly accessible through the wireless process, and that's about $10,000. And the rest of that is to provide for the proper backup of our services and our servers, et cetera. So that's the overview.
Mr. Brown or Mr. Robertson?
Just make a brief statement, Doug, about what this year represents in terms of our efforts to increase redundancy and so forth.
As the county becomes more reliant on our network operations, data, network, increases our need to be resilient. So to that end, we've spent several years designing and implementing our systems so that they could be better used, continuity of operations, disaster recovery, so that we could ship some of this stuff off-site, run off-site if we had to, if there were a natural disaster here, flood, fire, whatever. We're trying to move, design some of these systems to where we could pick operations back up next day if we had to in the event of a major catastrophe.
What line item is that mainly under?
That would be 317 and 709.
317 includes some $1,200 a month to rent some space in the state data center in Smyrna. It's a hardened facility with backup power, air conditioning, security.
Where is that located?
It's on Weekly Lane, is that right?
Right, yes, we're kind of next to the bowling alley, believe it or not.
It includes that, and then in 709, part of the $335,000 of that is for phase 3 of our 3-year plan for backup and deduplication of data. That would get about 50% of our most critical data off-site in another city, along with the ability to shift probably 50% of our servers. We would prioritize our mainline servers to run at some diminished capacity, but we could still run financial operations. Trying to think what else. But financial operations, mostly payroll and accounts payable.
Now, where the jail is now, or the sheriff's office is now doing their own computer work, how has that affected you this year? Any?
A little bit. We were able to cut about 10,000 out of, or not increase, excuse me, about 10,000 our 334 maintenance agreements line item. That would have seen 10,000 additional dollars in there for the Microsoft Enterprise licensing agreement, and we removed 30,000 from our 709 data processing equipment line item because they will be acquiring PCs within their own budget instead of us purchasing them and providing them.
And now, you probably explained this, I was looking over on something else, but in 709 there, your actual, which give or take, you know, is not lining up with your regular budget there, and then we're talking about the increase in the budget. Just don't seem like all that's lining up.
Yes, sir. Well, in short, that'll all be gone by the end of the year. We tend to save back until kind of the last minute so that we have emergency contingency funds to purchase whatever random thing might come up, whether it be due to a lightning strike or whatever it might be, Commissioner. And so we have 3 or 4 major projects that we will be
including I mentioned a 3-phase plan. We actually, phase 3.1, we're actually able to squeeze in this year's funding for these for virtual servers for our continuity of operations DR site. That's part of it. The judicial building to do the phone system, wireless, the network over there is the equipment is about 7 years old. It's end of service, end of life. I can't get the parts anymore. It's slated to be replaced. And then the other piece was some security things that we're doing to increase 2-factor authentication and security and some network monitoring.
Just to be clear, we're not spending the dollars at the very end because we have the dollars in there. We're spending the dollars at the end because these projects have been dedicated and we're making sure nothing else is happening and we're lining them up for the end of the year.
Right. Thank you for clarifying that in that way. That's exactly right. That's
I'm
exactly
checking
right.
to see if that is.
No, that is exactly right.
These were planned on projects, yes.
Yes.
One last thing too. The federal government, I know, has been pushing private industry to do more security, and you're talking security here. Is that part of the reasoning behind this, or as far as a cyber attack on some of our facilities? And it seems like I had heard that we actually had an attack on one of our facilities, or am I mistaken there?
We did have. I may let you follow up with me too, Doug, but we did have a what we would refer to as a random defacement. The best way to kind of describe the equivalent of that in the physical world would be that the sign out front of that facility was vandalized with
graffiti.
With graffiti. The graffiti artist didn't know what building he was even at. It was a random. They just saw a sign and spray painted it. So not only did they not knock on the front door of the facility, they didn't even get past the sign out front. I guess that's the best way to describe that. We can be far more technical, but it was random, and it was not targeted attack, the best we could tell. And it consisted of a page having some kind of propaganda on it for about 22 minutes. And we were able to get rid of that and have put in place, perhaps if anything, kind of, we could be accused of overreacting to that, considering it was a random defacement. But we've put in place multiple tiers of security. Doug, if you just give a...
Is that part of 709 and this other 334 increases we were talking about?
317, it's a, there's a $1,000 increase, and that's a monthly fee for a intrusion prevention, intrusion detection system that's monitored 24 hours, 7 days a week by a team of people, which we've had great luck with. They have notified us of things, false positives that they've seen that were actually legitimate activity.
We were actually allowed to trial
Oh,
that.
yes, I'm sorry. Yes, we demoed that unit for 4 months, maybe 5 months for free, with the thought that we would, if we could get funded, pay for the service starting July 1st. So we've been very impressed with that.
So that protects all of our systems here in the county, including school, or is that just
No,
general?
so the school's protection comes through the sort of the State Board of Regents
Net
state
10 network.
Net 10 network, yes, sir. So no, that's just county government.
Well, I'm gonna stop asking questions now. I'll make a recommendation to approve the mayor's budget.
Second.
Commissioner P, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan.
One last question on 121, how many people's in that?
13 full-time.
13. And 101 is one, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's the adjustment of the pay plan?
Yes.
Because it's over the regular budget request. And, okay. Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, gentlemen, we are ready now to go to the Health Department budget, page 70.
Doug, we hate this is your last budget and your.
Thank you.
May I ask where, I think I knew, but I don't. Where are you going?
I'm going to be the IT director for Murfreesboro Electric.
Okay.
Yes, just 3 blocks away.
Well, good luck there, and we'll miss you. We appreciate all the
Thank
years of service.
Thank
I'll
you.
second that. Thank you.
Good evening, Ms. Garrett. Gentlemen, page 70 in your notebook. This is Rutherford County's contribution for the local health. Mayor Burgess, page 70.
Okay, recommendation $659,131. That's $6,000 or $7,000 more than current budget. This is our budget. This is the piece that the county funds, and there's really little, if anything, to say about this except just normal increases you see in 189. There's makes up most of the changes that we have here on this budget. So everything else is pretty much a continuation budget.
Make a motion to approve.
Commissioner
Second.
Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner P. Ms. Garrett, do you need to speak to any details of that budget?
No.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Ms. Garrett will stay with us while we go to page 75, the dental health program part of the budget.
And that recommendation is for $12,400, and Lisa may have to remind us exactly what that's about, or is it? May not go.
This is just, I mean, the professional dues, and this is just the supplies for the dentist.
We
Does
just
that support the
they
dentist?
furnish the dentist, we just furnish the supplies, is that it?
That's correct.
All right, thank you for reminding us. $12,400.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank
Second
you.
motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Sedlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And page 76, these are state dollars reimbursed to Rutherford County for local health services on page 76, Mayor Burgess.
$1,984,396, and they fully reimburse us for those expenditures.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner
Second.
Fee, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan.
They're adding a doctor or
They're
something?
they're
Couple?
adding one full-time and 4 part-time
Oh,
positions.
that, okay, we saw that one.
I know that
Yeah.
one, it's not
Yeah,
costing you.
okay.
But funded by the state.
State.
Yeah, it's 200,000 funded by the state.
And that, we have no obligation if the state decides that they're not making the money next year, then they do something different? Okay. We're okay. That's fine.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Garrett. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, pages 71 through 73. This will be the budget for pet adoption and welfare services, 71 to 73. Mr. Gregory, good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor Burgess, your recommendation?
$1,402,230.
Mr. Gregory?
The major increases are gonna be for, medical insurance. That was the biggest increase. Everything else went up very minimally.
We do have some rearrangement. If you'll notice, 105, let's see, what's that? We've, 105 and 161 is sort of where 161 had a position
And it's
that
moved
we,
to attendance.
that's moved to attendance, so that's why that zero there is 161 and the attendance has gone up. Now, I believe we must have amended some money out of that.
We had vacant positions.
There was a vacant position there. So the 105, that supervisor line is what we had. We just had a vacant positions and we used some of that money to fund probably part-time and overtime. I don't remember precisely.
So 105 is just one person?
105 is two people.
It's two people.
Two people,
Yes, sir.
on 105.
And part-time, I've recommended 20,000 less than his request of 100,000, but we are hopeful that with this rearrangement of the position in 161 and the attendance and how they're using that in the supervision, we are hopeful that we'll overcome some of that need for the part-time.
What's the people in 161 and 164, I'm sorry?
There's no one in
There's no
161.
one in
No one right now,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be.
No.
Or it's out
It's
total.
out.
That's
Okay.
out. That's
It
been
just
folded
moved.
into line
Okay.
164.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other increase in 164 is just the
New team.
team that we have. Okay.
Other than that, I mean, there's a few changes as you go down through there. Again, as he mentioned, the insurance is up 27,000. We've reduced the cost of veterinary services since we have an in-house veterinarian, but that increases the use of drugs and medical supplies in 413 because of the needs he has there. Gasoline is down just a little, 5,000. There's no recommendation for a motor vehicle, even though there was a request for one. And we do have a request for copier replacements in 790 in the other equipment.
Maintenance is on the building, but they get, okay, building improvements out, so, okay.
The building improvement line, that was
Yeah.
for the vet wing.
Right.
Have you ran on your gasoline line item this year? It looks like we're sitting on
Right.
40 last year. We reduced that to 35.
It has historically always been at 35. This year we had to add 5,000 from the pool to finish out the rest of the year.
So we're hoping gas prices get down.
Yes, sir, we're hoping.
Well, through 10 months, he's at about 30,000, which would take him 36,000 if that was advertised, so we're close. We're in the neighborhood, we may still not have enough.
All right.
169.
The part-time, it's
a revolving.
so high because of people that leave and you gotta cover or somewhere or?
Our part-timers are folks that come in the mornings and work before we ever open to get the facility clean. Being down full-time folks, we had to increase those hours to get those areas clean.
Okay.
I think if you come to the facility, I know when the mayor was there, he talked about how the smell was much better than it did. We run a very clean facility. And we have members of the public that say that every day.
It is really remarkable the progress that they've made there. It's anywhere in the building.
The three cities.
Yes, sir.
how is it?
I met with, well,
We're providing wonderful service in all of Rutherford County, including every municipality.
Okay.
That's about the end of the story.
According to who? That's the thing. Is that according to both sides?
Well, I don't think we really need to go
Okay.
there, but I am very comfortable that that's the truth of the matter.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the budget.
Second motion.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Salmon. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Green. Page 78. This is our large animal pickup, our contract with Appertain. Gentlemen, you know, we approved that contract this past Thursday.
motion to approve this budget.
Second.
Commissioner Fee, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And again, gentlemen, other public health and welfare on page 79. We approved this budget for autopsies.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Well, what else is there, though? That's right, that's
Liability
right.
insurance for the
Yeah.
Warner.
Because we just did specifically autopsies, though, on
Right,
Thursday night, didn't
right.
we? That's right.
Second.
And Mr. Jerk, okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I went
Well,
too
I
fast.
just want
You
to,
have a
when did
question?
we approve? I know we had to give more money for the
We
autopsies
did
for this year.
autopsies, that's right.
Yeah.
Just the autopsies,
And
not,
we didn't
not
do the
all of
whole
this.
piece.
We didn't, that's why I wanted to make sure that you knew that we did not do all of this. All in favor, please say aye.
We just did, I think.
To make sure that you did that with that information. Thank you. Okay, page 81, RSVP, Retired Senior Volunteer Program. Is there anyone here representing that agency?
That $1,500 is part of the contribution you've been making to the Mid-Cumberland Community Action Agency over the years for their support of seniors again.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fee. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
And it's just separated
Recreation.
that way? It's just
Mr.
separated that way.
Cates. Gentlemen, we need to be on page 83. Mr. Cates, good evening.
Good evening. Okay, the recommendation on this is $409,175, which is a $21,000 increase for a program that is just doing a wonderful job. On behalf of all of our constituents out in the county, this is the best return on investment of a recreation department probably in the state of Tennessee. So, thing you have to say, we have under 189, there's a $10,000 increase. Mr. Cates is proposing to have 3 additional sites open, 2 in the summer and 1 in the winter. These contributions, Mr. Cates, were recommending we increase that from $100,000 to $110,000. That's whereby you, I think,
That's
y'all
the
make
10%.
awards.
No,
What is that
The
mean?
contribution is 10% of the hotel motel tax
Oh,
that goes
so that just-
to the Greenway.
They just put that in my
That's just in
budget.
his budget. I thought that was.
Had to go somewhere, so.
No, the grants are down in 399.
Yeah, the grants.
The grants is where I was thinking.
Yeah, that's
okay.
where we have all our.
So that he doesn't have any control over that, and neither
No.
do we. Okay, the grants are the same, and probably need more, but they didn't ask for any more. So anyway, that's the recommendation. Adding those 3 additional sites is about the extent of the increase, plus that $10,000 he just told you about.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Commissioner
Is that gonna be enough money to get those 3 sites in
Yes, it
the
is.
winter?
Yes.
So you've got volunteers that are going in.
A lot of
and helping with that.
volunteers, a lot of volunteers.
You do a great job.
That's the great thing about what's going on in recreation in this county. It's like in our ball leagues in the summer and our junior pro in the winter. People come and mow and flip hamburgers and pay their officials and you know about all that. And they don't just come and let their child off and go home.
they come and do all those things and take a part in the community. It's wonderful to see.
Gentlemen, we do have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Gates.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, pages 85 and 86, Agriculture Extension. Mr. Tuggle, good evening. Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
The total recommendation is $707,096, which is $30,000 less than current budget, but there's some ups and downs on all of this, and we'll have to just sort of go through these, and Mr. Tuggle may have to address things that I'm not fully informed on, but you'll see that teachers are up just a little bit. I think that's just routine increase there. A routine decrease, I guess, in the secretarial staffing, that's a reduction of about $6,000 from the current budget. Other salaries and wages we have put in place, and you'll see part-time personnel is 0 as opposed to a budget of 31.2 this year. So we folded that part-time budget allocation over into 189 for other salaries, which has allowed Mr. Tuggle to put in place a grounds manager and a marketing manager for the farmers market. So that's why that's up. That's up $14,000 there, but we actually reduced the $31,200 line item up there. Now, contracts with government agencies, that's just state reimbursement, I guess, from TSU and UT. I suppose that's I don't know quite how that works, but that 274,000.
It's a percentage. It's 55% with the calculation that our county pay 55% of salary benefits, and that's what our portion is. Also in that line, we did reduce some of that part-time line to make our part-time person at the university cost share. A part-time person, we had to be full-time, so I think it was like slight reduction to make that person full-time as well.
That was to our benefit.
Yeah.
We have an increase in utilities because we believe it's necessary of about $10,000. We've reduced the cost of other supplies and materials from 26 to 10. So that's how we netted a $30,000 decrease.
Mr. Tuggle?
That's the recommendations.
Motion to approve the budget proposal by the mayor.
Commissioner Pease,
Second.
thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Sam. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Tuggle.
And we got a nice farmer's market out there, too.
Yep. And it's already open.
It's already about two projects. This year we actually received a grant in conjunction with MTSU to accept credit cards and debit cards. And it went great. First week, I think we did over $800 for credit card transactions.
Wow.
Good.
We're excited.
And what are your hours of operation since we're on TV? I'm trying to advertise a little bit for you.
We were open Tuesday and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we're excited about it.
Get there early and get the good stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
And the number of people that are using their facilities out there is just excellent. I mean, they're getting the gardeners from all over the state of Tennessee, all the agriculture extension agents have had a major meeting there, so they're getting a lot of participation. It's a very, very nice facility, if not the best in any county. Well, I don't know, Williamson County's up there with us, but it's good.
We had a business day.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Soil conservation, page 87, gentlemen. Mrs. Goodman, good evening. Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Well, $119,470. This is more or less a continuation budget. I mean, they requested, I think, about $3,000 more than that, but it's a little bit more than they currently have at $118,000. So that's the recommendation.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Commissioner
Second.
Salmon, seconded by Commissioner Jordan.
I'm sorry, I jumped right into her.
Mrs. Goodman, do you need to speak to any part of the budget?
No, we appreciate all the support you give us.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you.
Is this, what, does Mr. DeMint usually come to this one?
Yes.
He does usually,
Is
and
he? I don't know that one.
he's improving. I think he's developed a condition called essential tremor. It's not Parkinson's disease, but it's similar to Parkinson's disease. So he's getting therapy and getting stronger. He's at home. He was at Adams Place for a while. But he's having to have some speech therapy in addition to physical therapy.
We miss him and send him our best wishes.
Oh,
Yes.
well, I will.
Yeah.
He'll be glad to know that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other economic and community development, page 91. This is the home grant.
Oh, okay, I'm just gonna have to let Ms. Nolan handle it. Go ahead and tell them about
Okay,
that.
this is a grant, it's just flow through money, and so there's revenue offsetting this, and this is the Greater Nashville Regional Council of Government manages this for us, and this helps individuals with low income that find help to help rehab their homes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner B, thank you. That was Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The county garage, page 92, gentlemen. Mayor Burgess.
Okay, this is our garage at the Armory. Recommendation is $293,290, which you can see is about $3,000 or $4,000 more. It's a continuation budget in every respect, the same number of employees, and there's nothing really there of any consequence that should be noted.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Gentlemen, page 93, employee benefits. Mrs. Nolan?
These different items, that 205, $75,000, this is our pooled amount of money to help offset that after January when the employees make their new selections, gives us a place to where if we didn't account for, enough in a budget, we can pull from there. Unemployment compensation that is a pooled amount too. Then the other fringe benefits is the estimated offset for the retirees' insurance premiums. And workers' comp is the county general's contribution to the OJI expenses. So $696,500.
So some of those are set amounts. I mean, like the OJI.
Yes, yes.
It's locked in. But like the employee independent insurance, it could possibly never be used if it went down and people didn't take it that you're anticipating. Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Page 94, payments to cities, and this, of course, is the payment in lieu of taxes paid to Smyrna.
We receive 100% of the pilot agreement from Nissan, and this is Smyrna's share of that pilot agreement. $1,928,146.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner P, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That's through what year?
2020.
2020.
2020.
2020.
And then there's a separate pilot agreement on battery plant.
Miscellaneous, pages 101 and 102.
I'm making $881,400. We've got that miscellaneous $58,900 down to just 3 line items. $625 for gasoline, that's our contingency line item there for other departments if we need that. The judgments is Ms. Nolan's best estimate of how many dollars we should put in there to pay judgments, $800,000. And the trustees commission is her computation on that number, $981,400.
Make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan,
I'll
thank you.
second it
Seconded by
also.
Commissioner P.
Now this gasoline is the pool amount, yeah.
Emergency.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. That motion carries. Okay, let's turn to to sections 3 and 4, the solid waste sanitation fund. Mr. Nolan will join us. Section 3 is the revenue part, and you will remember, of course, gentlemen, no property tax goes to this fund.
We're estimating that revenues at $2,707,500.
And if you'll turn to section 4, that's the expenditure section. Page 1.
Page 1 is the sanitation, education/information budget. And let's see here, 149.
One person.
Is one person, that's a litter crew driver, I believe. And we've got some part-time personnel.
That's another litter crew driver, part-time.
Okay, part-time, and then we come down to other salaries and wages, line 189, that's our environmental educator, that's Mrs. Keasley. And so far, these numbers are all the same, as you can see. There's really nothing in this budget. Motor vehicles, I'm recommending none. They requested one, but the total recommendation is $134,630, which is a couple thousand less.
Make a motion approved.
Commissioner Jernigan.
Second motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Gentlemen, page 2, the convenience centers. Pages 2 and 3 and 4.
And the recommendation is $2,288,479, which is about $150,000+ less. And we'll go through this just ever so briefly. We really don't get to any major changes until we get to, well, I need to start back over. It's 3 pages. Page 2, truck drivers, those are just increases through the normal evaluation process, I believe. Laborers, that's all the convenience center operators, right? There is an increase in the budget for each of those people at 25 cents an hour. Let's see, we come on down to, well, insurance again is up about $19,000. That's what it is because of the mix of employees. Asphalt is still the same. Hopefully, continue to improve and pave some of those places. Diesel fuel has increased substantially because it has increased this year for us, so that's $282,000 is about 72 increase. Turning to the last page, 4, motor vehicles. I'm not recommending any new vehicles, even though we requested $376,000. We've been able to put in place some new vehicles in the last couple of years or so, so I don't recommend us doing anything else. Site development is something that we'll continue to put in this budget for potential need of moving from some of our locations which are too small. We just really have never found the right place and done it. I think we've looked at Las Casas and Milton in particular, not Milton, Las Casas and Leanna. So that's the recommendation.
What did you say the request was on the motor vehicles? What was that, a roll-off or something?
One roll-off truck and one front-loader truck. Front-loader truck's a little over 200,000, roll-off's about 140.
So you may be back, is what you're saying? Something goes down.
You make it through another year.
He's got about 3 new trucks.
We got you 3 more new rolls of duct tape. We're gonna let you.
Make a motion approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
If you could indulge me though, right quick on my numbers, I'm wanting to do that, the 147,
In which, you're gonna start at the,
page 2 on that.
on page 2, 732.
You could probably tell us
Truck
right.
driver's
14. And 149.
There.
40.
That's all the part-time.
Oh, they're in that part-time, okay. 162 then,
There's one.
1.
166. 147 is 1.
141's 1, right?
1.
Yeah, okay.
Gentlemen, page 5, other waste collection. Mayor Burgess.
1.
This is Haley Road, right?
Well, it's mostly Haley Road, and then it's they also take care of the unmanned site and Smyrna behind the grocery store.
And the 149 position is not filled at this moment, is that correct?
That is correct.
So we have some part-time help there maintaining that Tuesday and Saturday opening to receive and recycle materials. Let's see.
You're saying it's only open Tuesday, Saturday, and Saturdays? Okay.
Now, the public can go there and deposit, but we don't have it manned.
Well, that's, okay, that's,
Yes.
I was.
Sorry about that. 312 is down $5,000, my recommendation is. The same for 399, recommendation is down 5,000. And solid waste equipment, 20,000 as opposed to the current 40,000 for a total of $136,065.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sand.
Most of that's on 169 then, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, pages 6, 7, and 8, landfill operations and maintenance.
Quick question before we get away from that. The center over there at MTSU, who maintains that?
At MTSU.
Okay.
Landfill operation and maintenance.
And the recommendation is $847,372. That's about $88,000 more than this year, but let's take a look at that. And we'll start with line item 312. The rest of that above there is pretty much the same. Mr. Nolan, that's up about $60,000. What's the
Contracts with private agencies, that's the contracts we have in place to move dirt and do the construction type activities at the landfill. We're gearing up to do some leachate recovery and stuff next year.
And that's very, very much needed. We've been in a process for the last more than a year now with the Tennessee State environmental people, and this will be an ongoing remediation kind of process, and that's what that's about. Engineering services.
Just 1 second. Do you bid that every year, the guy that does the dirt moving, or how does that?
We had been bidding it every year. The last time we bid it was a 1-year bid with 4 1-year extensions.
Okay.
Engineering services is up for that same very reason. We're having to use some consulting engineering to put in place a plan that the state finds acceptable. Let's see, there's a small increase in fertilizer for the remediation that we're doing and then of course, so most all of our increase was in that one item on that contracts with private agencies. And motor vehicles or equipment, I'm not recommending anything there as, so we try to make it a few more years with good equipment.
Our primary dozer is 10 years old, our backup dozer is 40.
Do you want that in the record?
I agree with his recommendation, I just want you to know that.
It'll probably come from Army surplus at that.
No, it's actually yellow.
Okay.
Still performing though. Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Shaver. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Can you do 149?
121.
121. Thank you.
Mayor Burgess, page 9, post-closure costs.
Well, again, post-closure, this is part of the same process.
The old closed landfill to keep it in compliance with the state regulations.
And again, you can see contract with private agencies, we're having to spend dollars there to take care of some things that have to be corrected.
Is that the monitoring wells?
We have two types of monitoring wells. We have gas monitoring wells, and then we have groundwater monitoring wells.
But is that in this?
Yes.
I know at one time we'd had a proposal to get the methane from
Collect it.
collect it and sell it with, I guess it was BFI at that time, and, you know, they keep changing their name, so I can't keep up with them. But have we looked at doing that ourselves?
Our landfill is old enough, it's on the downhill side,
So
on the
we're-
methane production. We're actually looking at the possibility of doing a minor modification with our landfill permit to do away with our torches. Right now, we've got 44 flares
Right.
that burn off the methane. They were all installed back in the mid-90s, and you can't even buy parts for them anymore.
Yeah, they're maintenance nightmares.
Okay.
Post-closure costs, gentlemen?
And the budget's $340,000. That's the recommendation. Again, $50,000 increase in contracts with private agencies to keep it in compliance.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner P. and seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Well,
carries.
the contracts for post-closure, that's separate, you got it listed separate than the contracts with private agencies? Oh, okay. They don't work together, or?
It's the same contractor, but you've got two separate budgets. The active C&D landfill is the operating budget.
Okay.
The old closed landfill is the post-closure. So you've got two budgets on the same piece of
I was
property.
just hoping, I saw 50,000 there for next year, and it'd been 5,000. I thought maybe you stuck a zero in there inadvertently, but,
No, it wasn't inadvertent.
Okay, gentlemen, page 10, employee benefits. Mrs. Nolan?
This is the estimate of $2,000 for unemployment compensation. We haven't paid anything this year, so it's just an estimate. And then 513 is this fund's share of their OJI.
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then miscellaneous.
It's their share of the insurance, their share of judgments, their estimate for liability insurance, and then trustees commission, $45,900.
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Nolan, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job he's doing. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Ambulance Service Fund, gentlemen, section 5 in your notebooks. Good evening, Mr. Nunley.
We're estimating revenue in total of $11,352,694. This fund gets about half the revenue from the local taxes and half of it from their charges for services.
I think it's noteworthy to note that the current budget was $5.5 million, and we budgeted $6.1 million current year. So the new billing system that they've acquired and put in place is producing excellent results.
Is that all we need to do on the revenue? Okay, let's turn please to the expenditure section. Mayor Burgess.
Okay, that's several pages over, they're labeled page 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3,
And the total recommendation is $10,637,880, which is $100,000 plus less than current budget. We'll need to go over a bit of this. If you'll see that 105, which is supervisors and directors, that number is decreased about 50,000.
That's when we eliminated one position.
Oh, we eliminated that one position there? Okay.
Why are you there, how many? Do you know how many there?
So we eliminated one there, but we put it in another place, didn't we?
No.
We just eliminated?
We eliminated
That's right. Thank you for that correction. So you've seen we've not added any positions, and we've even eliminated one or two thereabouts.
There's 20 in 105.
Okay. So this that we see right before it is for the assistant director is the request. Oh, that one's eliminated, okay. But then on the next page for the paramedics and the dispatcher and a part-timer,
That was
those
a wish
were
list.
just.
That was
okay.
requested, but none
Okay.
that is recommended. And really, there's nothing, those others up through there are routine changes to the actual evaluation. Did you get all your numbers you wanted to on the other?
I got 105, 119, 133.
119's got 5. 133 is 90. 12 dispatchers. 1 custodial.
Okay.
Or, I mean, maintenance.
Gotcha.
Okay. In-service training, they reduced that about 12,000. Again, the employee insurance is up a bit, just on, based on their mix of employees. Maintenance and repair service of vehicles, that's up $28,000, simply again because they have equipment that's aging in place as well, so we're put a little bit more in there for that budget.
He's got less people, and his overtime is staying the same as last year.
It's a very,
Like it.
very efficient operation.
Mike's always done a
Even
good
more
job.
so every year.
Yeah.
Good, and he brings in revenue.
Yes, it's increasing, it's increasing. Postal charges are down 6,000. The other contracted services, that's up some again, that 314,800 is up, say 90,000, but we're recovering substantially more than that in our billing process, so we pay them more as they
Get more.
garner more for us.
We had a budget amendment this past county commission meeting.
It was
relative to
90,000,
that.
wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Gasoline, we've increased that budget, again, because of actual use. Other supplies and materials is down about 8,000. Communications equipment is up 7,500 or 6,500. That's, I guess, just.
This is the final year that we have to update the UHF.
Okay.
Excuse me. Line item 505, we went over, we skipped that, and it's got nothing in there.
I don't even know what that is.
Judgment.
That's the one that we have, when there are claims and judgments that relate back to the ambulance.
Yeah.
We just did an amendment.
We did that last week also.
Do it as we need it.
Oh, for next year?
No, we
Oh,
did it,
for
remember,
next
for
year.
$10,000.
Okay.
Remember last, this.
So we don't put anything in there, we just.
We haven't.
Okay, gotcha. But
We probably should.
Motor vehicles, again, my recommendation is for no new vehicles. We've been able to get several over the last, 2 years, I guess, we've gotten a few. And office equipment, there need to replace a copier at Salem Road. That's time for that to happen. And health equipment, Mr. Nunley may have to tell us about that, but that's 15,000 that we have in there is just for a ventilator to be used for inter-facility transports. The large money that I didn't recommend, we'll have to explain to you again what that was.
That was on his wish list too.
That was on the wish list, but I don't remember what it was about.
It's actually a wish list, and I really didn't even want it to be included in the budget. It was just for the mayor and the finance director.
So that just made the mayor look better, and the finance director told him we're gonna do it, I guess you could say.
But it was essentially things that I foresee us needing over the next few years. We're gonna have to replace most of our cardiac monitor defibrillators because the ones that we currently have are not gonna be serviced anymore by Physio Control. We need to replace some AEDs. We'd like to put an AED in each ambulance because it's much easier to carry an AED into the house if you need to shock somebody and then bring them out to the ambulance to put them on the monitor. And there's things like that. It also had some vehicles
So when are you gonna start replacing these? I mean, you got another year then on replacing these equipment stuff and the ambulances then, or what?
I think the mayor has a plan for that, and I've discussed it with him. I don't want to speak for him, but.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit more time, and we'll give you a better plan at some point later.
Mr. Nunley, would you speak to the mayor's recommendation for your budget?
We support the mayor's recommendation.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner P, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Discussion?
Just, okay, your unassigned fund balance, you got, what is it, a health and welfare fund or something, what you call it? What is it right now? What are you anticipating? It's gonna be up from last year?
It probably won't be up from last year. Let's see, we took $100,000.
We're estimating it at about $3 million.
Any further discussion?
That'll be up next year.
Okay.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Nunley.
Thank you. Melanie Machado, she's the one that keeps all the math straight at the ambulance.
Okay.
I asked her to come with us tonight.
Good, thank you.
She does very good, and she didn't have to hit you or anything, right? I mean, it was all right.
Okay, gentlemen, we're ready for the Highway Fund, sections 9 and 10. The mayor does not make a recommendation on this fund. Mr. Williams will join us, and Miss Mary.
We've got what we've sent to budget, which will show you exactly how many personnel we've got, Mr. Salmon.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Mike?
Yes, sir.
Your last budget?
I hope.
I want to take an opportunity to tell, and probably the chairman, the mayor, and everybody's going to get ready to say the same thing, but I appreciate your service all this many years and doing the job on the highway department that you've done. We appreciate you.
I've had some excellent help, and 2 of them are here tonight, so.
That's right.
Mr. Williams and Miss Mary, before you start, gentlemen, you should have in your notebook.
No, I think I put it on their
It's
table.
on your table? Okay, it's right in front of you, yes. Our finance director needs to make some changes before we begin.
Okay.
This is just on revenue.
Yeah.
I had a dear friend that spoke at commission, reminded me I need to check the maintenance of effort for the highway department. And so to ensure that we did, we were coming up short on the maintenance of effort. So we need to, under the revenue, on page 2 of the revenue, I looked at what my estimate was for the local option sales tax. I think we can increase that to $260,000, and mineral severance, increase that to $250,000. So I'm adding $110,000 to the revenue. So total revenue to be $7,918,442. Their appropriations coming through is $9,378,799. Just want to touch on some of these things. Revenue that we put in here, when we have to maintain our local effort. In this form, we have to, they compare what we've got budgeted to what we've done for the last 5 years. Of course, we've had, I've just projected what I think that we're going to end this year, to at least come up with something. If we end the year and we still haven't met the maintenance of effort, we've had to come back like maybe August when we meet back and adjust the revenue number. So that's what this is. The other revenue that we have in this fund, Mike, you might want to touch on it. It's like the gas tax and those things that come from the state.
Yeah.
You're limited on what you can be spending those for.
Yeah, gasoline tax, of course, when the price goes up, the purchases go down, and the gas tax stays the same per gallon. So that, in fact, our gasoline projection for this year is down quite a bit from last year. Of course, we do get a portion of the wheel sticker and a portion of the mineral severance also. And that's where our funding comes from, other than the 500 and something thousand that we get for the public works account. Last year's budget was $9,907,445. We're proposing this year $9,378,799. That's a decrease of $528,646, or a 5.3% decrease. The majority of that is our state aid funding. Last year, if you'll notice on the last page, on line item 68,726, state aid project, we had quite a bit of fund balance in our state aid that the state keeps every year. We don't use it. It's saved. We received $857,860 last year, and our normal is $279,860. So that's where the major decrease is in the budget, other than a few other line items. We've got 3 less employees for this coming year. Natural gas, we're cutting 5,000. We're cutting 20,000 from liability insurance, 50,000 from crushed stone, and 50,000 out of road signs. We have all of our highway name signs and stop signs installed already. After we found out, we didn't have to do it right away, but we went ahead and got the ball rolling and got that done.
On your sheet here, you say you've got 64 positions. That's how many positions you have, but they're not all filled?
No, we got 3 that are not filled.
Are you planning on?
I'm not planning on it. Of course, I'm going out.
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
I don't have any control over it after that. But that's basically our proposal, and if you got any questions, I'll try to answer it. If I can't, I know a lady that can.
Well, Miss Mary, you're not going anywhere.
I hope not.
I hope not. I hope not.
I bet the man that's coming in sure doesn't, hope she doesn't.
That's right.
No, Mary has helped me with the budget since what, 95?
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for her, I'd be gone.
Okay.
Mike, help me for a minute. On that last page, going back to your state aid projects.
Right.
You had 857,860 last year, and that's accumulated over a few years. You get so much per year, and then
Yeah,
you save it up to, say, fix a bridge or a major project. So I assume that
we spent all of it.
what was that spent on? Do you recall?
New Nashville Highway, Old Nashville Highway and Woodbury Highway, both sections. It's in 2 different sections. We did paving of Old Nashville Highway and the 2 Woodbury.
I knew about the Woodbury section there since I drive it just about every day. So.
And the cost of mix, that was an expensive project because it's something like, 12, 13 miles of it.
Well, one thing I'll have to say, I don't know of any county that has better roads than Rutherford. And as far as keeping them paved and well kept, you've done a good job with these budgets. And you're very conservative with your budgets, and you always have been. I want to tell you, like Steve started out saying, I appreciate what you've done with those budgets year after year.
We finished in the black every year, but I think 2, maybe 3 years. And they were pretty close within 120,000, 125,000. So, and for the 2 months I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be in the red too, probably, because we'll be paving heavily in July and August.
Thank you.
administration budget, $685,359.
What page are you on?
I'm under tab 10.
In section 10, which is the expenditure section. Can we just go through each page to the
I
end?
can.
Should we just do that?
Do you want me to
Or do we even need to do that?
I need to ask a question first on that maintenance effort. I don't, you know, we heard for the first time, I think, we had to do something last year for it.
We've done something maybe 2 years
Oh,
in a row.
Right. But last year was something different.
Last year, because of the sales tax dropping down, remember, City of Murfreesboro businesses were generous and gave us their sales tax instead of City of Murfreesboro. So, you know, when the sales tax division, when City of Murfreesboro audited it, then sales tax goes back a year. It goes back 12 months, and then we have to pay that back.
So we're square on that now.
We've got, I think, 1 month into next year, and then we're
Okay.
square.
Okay.
So
we had to use
they-
property tax, or what did we have to
we
use?
did. We moved some property tax from the ambulance fund.
But
into
this
the
year,
health.
it's back out.
I've kept the same way that we distributed the penny for the current year. I've projected it just the
Okay.
same way. So
So-
even still, in next year, there will be a need for that additional pennies to go in to help meet maintenance of effort.
Why? When the sales tax has gone back up?
Because if you just look at your sheet.
Because you ain't beating the effort.
I mean, it's.
Mineral severance.
Mineral severance is killing us, and that other local taxes is interest. See how much, I mean, truly, that's interest, and you see how that is just about, you know, it's killing us when you don't get, but, what is it?
0.12%.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the local effort that we had in 07, 08 that we don't have now. So we've got to make it up in some other way.
As long as construction's down, mineral severance will be down.
Mike, I know I'm jumping back on something, and I just hadn't seen it as I'm going through this. Where is the salt that we use?
It's on, should be on second page, 205, 409, 444, yeah. We're taking that completely out.
You said what page again?
It's page 205.
Next to the last item.
Line 444.
Okay, I kind of started
Last-
reading the right corner here.
Last year, we had to put extra money in there to purchase salt because we depleted our supply. And this last winter, we didn't use any to amount. I think we used 1 load of salt all winter. And our bin's full, so I don't project having to have any this year.
The reason I brought that up, I've been questioned several times about how often we salt roads, and some people seem to think it's not needed, and, you know, other people are dying to have it. So I just wanted to bring that one up.
We don't salt any more than we have to. I don't especially like using salt. Cause it is detrimental to the road.
Yeah.
And bridges especially.
How do we want to go through it? And just go by categories. The administration is $685,359. Highway and bridge maintenance, $5,985,350. Operation and maintenance of equipment, $1,239,585. Skip quarry. Other charges is $534,325, and this is the work that's the Public Works, working in the easements. Employee benefits, which is the unemployment, other fringe, same as all the other funds and their contribution to OJI, total of $209,320. Their capital outlay estimate is $724,860. That 726, that bridge, I mean, 705 bridge construction and 726, there is offsetting revenue for those, right? On this,
Some on the 705, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Some on the 70, but all of the,
58,000 comes state aid.
yeah, 58,000.
Right.
Okay.
But 726 is totally,
State funded.
yes, ma'am.
So that totals 724,860, for a total for the fund of 9,378,799.
This is reduction from last year. I don't see anything out of line in it. I'm gonna make a motion to recommend the budget.
Thank you, Commissioner Peake.
Second motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Seth. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna pass on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And best wishes to you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mary.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, General Debt Service Fund, Section 15 in your notebooks, please. Do you want to do the blue sheet, or what did you start with first?
Let's start with revenue,
Okay.
estimating revenue.
If you'll go past the new sheets that were added today to the revenue page.
I'm under page 14, under tab 14.
Oh, you're on.
No, I'm not.
No, no, it should
No,
be
I'm not.
15.
I'm a-
Yeah.
It should be 15.
Yeah, sorry. Estimating total revenue at $39,064,479. Total expenditures for the fund of $41,651,683. I've just added some information on these front sheets. This first one is the summary of the outstanding debt. We're estimating the principal outstanding at 6/30/12. This is all our bonds and one capital outlay note that totals $379,345,000. We are scheduled to pay off $24,640,000 in principal. Brings our balance to $354,705,000 at the end of next fiscal year. The bottom of this page is a summary of outstanding debt that's paid by the General Purpose School Fund. This is already included in their budget.
Do you have an extra?
Did I not stick it in
Mr.
there?
Baum,
I took my notebook home and I didn't get it in there.
Okay, I'll pass
We'll get
this,
you-
I'll give,
We'll share it until then.
okay. All right, so the schools, these agreements that you see listed, those all have to do with the lighting projects. At the bottom of the first page, right here,
Okay.
this bottom part,
Okay.
this is all accounted for in the school's budget. Now, what's not on here is the estimate of what they think is gonna be, how did you, on the $1.4 million on the
lease payments.
the lease payments, yes. This next page gives you, for all future years, what we are scheduled to pay in principal and interest requirements. For the fiscal year ending 2013, 84% of the principal and interest is for education, 16% is for general government purposes. I threw this in here, this second page on what is a penny worth, this is just a FYI information. It does lead to the second page, but what I try to attempt is to, there's your tax year and fiscal year, and the debt service, this is how much we actually collected on an audited basis in debt service, and then what the penny was at that time. So the penny actual, after audit, I just thought this was just interesting information on the 2010 tax year, 2011 fiscal year. We were estimating the penny to be $578,559, but in actuality it was $576,191. That was a reduction, but most other years when we actually close, because we have estimates in there for uncollectible and then what we actually, what the appraisals go out in the bills. But I wanted to direct your attention when you see the increases of how much that penny increases each year. And it's past history. Now, we've grown a lot in those years, so the question is, how much can we anticipate that increase in the future? So that's, I just want you to see where we were in the past, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll have that in the future. So when you go to the next page, I want you to know that when I was developing the estimate of revenue, I have the increase in the penny rate being 2% from 2012 to 2016, then 3% in 2017 to 20, and then 4% after that. So you see that there's a conservative, hopefully there's a conservative estimate in the revenue. Hopefully it will come better. But if it doesn't, what can you stand to look at? So with that in mind, we're showing that we're using almost 2.6 million in fund balance for next fiscal year, but with a 65% assumption, we will meet our requirement and be over 3 million. We may have a potential problem in fiscal year 13-14. I'm showing that we might be under our requirement by 303,000, but if the assessments are better, then maybe this will wash out and we won't have that problem. This is assuming we're not borrowing any money too, because that would factor into it too. But with this proposal or this pro forma, 14-15 looks like would be our potential problem. So, all that to say, we're estimating our fund balance at $32,751,000 going into next year. Again, revenue at $39,064,479. Expenditures $41,651,683. To use fund balance of $2,587,000. With this projection, estimating the ending fund balance for next year at $30,163,000. That leaves us at a 72%.
Where are you at on that?
I'm on a cover sheet that I gave you at the very beginning. It's probably in the front of your notebook.
Oh,
that summary.
School system.
I would think that these
Way in the front.
yeah.
Way in the front, keep going.
Yeah.
You got a page number on this board, and
That's it.
16.
Gentlemen, page 16.
16.
So you see that I'm estimating our ending fund balance at 72%. I would not recommend moving any pennies out because of the potential of the next year and the year after that.
Well, I have to say, I think your estimates are conservative when you look at what we actually, our actual, and the last year, it's a lot closer from as to be expected, but still, I think you're, as usual, conservative on it. It's not like that. Thank you.
As I always said, I'd rather y'all beat me up for it coming in better than it coming in worse.
Well, I don't want to fund something on a high estimate and then end up in not having that, so I'd much rather prefer looking at it this way.
579, something. Way back here. The penny. If
Let's talk about the penny.
Yeah.
Okay. I will be receiving a revised estimate of where the assessments are. They didn't have all the frozen properties in the last estimate that I got from the assessor's office. There's usually about 1,800 properties that are under tax freeze. They only had 600 in. So I'm really not sure what the mix is. Now, when I say that, it means those properties that are frozen are in the mix of not frozen on the assessments that I'm getting. So I really need one closer. I'm hoping it's not gonna be that change, but it may change.
And that's both tax relief and tax freeze?
It's
Or-
just tax freeze that affects the assessment number. I think what I plan to look at again, and I'll try to do that before tomorrow night's meeting. We'll be meeting with the schools. I'll probably revise, we'll probably revise our sales tax estimate for the schools. I'll do that April. We've gotten some better numbers, and what we were trying to project is about a 2% increase over what we think we're going to get this year. Based on the last 2 months that we've got, I think we can improve that revenue estimate.
Okay, how much would, you said for this year, the fiscal year we're in right now, it would have been 578,000 something on the penny, is what it was. How much more would it have been roughly if we did not have the tax freeze in existence? Maybe 2,000 more?
I don't think it's, yeah, I mean, that, based when we were talking about whether or not to do a tax freeze or not a tax freeze, the estimates that we were getting from the state really was a big difference between, what effect it was gonna have on the penny. I think it was like $25,000–$30,000 difference it would have, affected any new pennies. You'd have to back off about 25,000. If you are at the front of your notebook, right under the picture page is the last estimate from the assessors that I got. So you can see the difference between what the budget is based on, 584, and what any additional penny would be. Of course, now again, this is the 600 properties. It's only about $1,000 difference. It's not that hugely, and maybe, I'm trying to think what it was last year, and I didn't bring my budget. That's not a budget.
I think I wrote down here $575,281. Does that ring a bell?
And compared to the other, the 2 pennies, one being what the budget's based on, and then what additional penny would be. That's the difference I'm trying to remember, but I'm thinking it's probably less than $5,000 between those two. So it's not.
So you multiply that by 2.46, and you're talking basically, what is it, 500,000 maybe, 500,000? Is that what it comes out?
242. Let's see.
246.
242 pennies times, let's say $5,000.
246, isn't it?
I rounded.
246.
You rounded all the way to 242.
246.52 times, I'll say $4,000. So in total, $986,000. But that doesn't work that way. That doesn't work that way. It's looking back on this.
Look on your page right here.
No, I know, but what, this is what the difference of when you have to add pennies. I've taken away an estimate of the.
Yeah, it's only $1,800 difference there.
Yeah, but I only have 600 properties that generate $466,000.
So with 600 properties, it's $1,800. So if it may go up from there.
Yeah, she said it could be 1,800.
So more than that.
Yeah, more than that.
No.
1,800 properties, she only has 600 in this number, she said.
Right.
So it could be 3 times whatever the 600. Just if you.
But again, it's just if you were considering adding additional property tax, adding additional, that's just, you can't count the whole penny that the budget is. You've got to go back.
Until you increase taxes, you haven't lost any revenue.
You're right.
Right.
Well, you did that first year.
But every year you got to recalculate it because these individuals have to reapply every year.
The bottom line on
don't make it.
Excuse me. Bottom line on our debt service fund, that we're going to be good keeping it as it is. So.
But I wouldn't recommend moving. We moved 3 cents last year out.
I recall. I like paying off debt myself. So anyway,
and I hate throwing y'all back and forth, but there is I didn't bring your attention to it. It's the sheet. When you talk about the debt, it was the second sheet. And it was the one that has the principal and interest together. Not counting the notes, not counting that 9.6 million in notes. We will pay 34% of our principal off in 5 years. In 10 years, we'll pay 66% of our principal off. In 10 years.
Except
That's
you
our-
know
that's
we're
our
gonna have to
schedule.
borrow some more in that span of time.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying
You're
is
talking
even
about
still,
now,
when we
though,
schedule the
instead.
debt and how we're gonna pay off,
Yeah.
You get
we
confused.
exceed the paying off half of it within 10 years.
Well, we've done you and your department's done an excellent job of being able to go and refinance and save us money. We've done that several times, and I anticipate seeing that again, but.
We really did a whole lot of all the ones that we could.
Right. Are you ready for a motion,
Yes.
Madam Chairman? I'll make a motion to accept
General debt service.
the debt service as it is without a change.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Peake.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bond. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Gentlemen, is there anything else that needs to come before our committee this evening?
I just want to throw something out, just as food for thought, and that's all it is, because it crosses my mind a lot. Is I'm wondering if sometime in the future, we need to set up 2 new funds. One is for that judicial, that judgment thing that we got stuck in our fund, because it seems like anymore we can't turn around without getting sued. And sometimes we get sued in a case by both sides. So, and the other is you know, maybe sometime we want to look at unfunded mandates and have a fund set up for that, just to keep things separate. So that's all. I'm just throwing that out.
Well, we do have a separate fund to take care of, to account for the property casualty claims and judgments. One fund, all of it flows through. And each fund that you do budgets for, if you look at that, I'll have money in there that goes into that main fund.
Okay, but it's listed as part of the general fund or something.
Well,
in
no,
it.
that's only the general fund's
Fund
part.
part,
I mean,
yeah.
because,
Okay.
Elaine's real good about keeping up with whose claims is who, and so we charge back to the fund that the claim, whether it's highway or whether it's solid waste. Or ambulance now, we're going, we took care of them for what, 2 years and paid it out of the general fund, but we now hit the fund. But that's why you see it in all the different funds, it's paying their claims. And schools.
Okay, gentlemen, let me remind you of our joint meeting tomorrow evening with the Health and Education Committee. That is at the school board office at 5 p.m.
We need to take these books with us so we have them.
You usually have a handout for us. They will have a handout.
Okay.
So we won't need our notebooks, okay.
Make sure.
It's at 5.
It's at 5 p.m.
Cause I had it
yes.
written down 5:30 and I
Yes.
noticed that on here 5 and I was like,
5
ooh, I'll
o'clock.
try to look at that.
Now, I do understand that they are having a board meeting. They'll have a board meeting, do some quick business, and then immediately go into
Right.
session with Health and Ed as quickly as possible. And then our next meeting is here, May 29th, at our regularly scheduled 5:30 time. Okay? Anything else? Thank you, gentlemen. I know it was a little bit longer meeting than we normally schedule, but thank you for hanging with us, and we are adjourned.